Hey everyone, welcome back to Learner's World. Today's video is an anatomy and physiology video. It's going to be an intro for the lecture portion. So without further ado, let's get started. And also keep in mind I will have a Quizlet linked in the description box below. So anatomy is going to be the study of structure, while physiology is the study of function. The abiotic or non-living levels of organization. So you have 92 naturally occurring atoms, 25 being essential for life. Molecules are made up of multiple atoms. These are going to be things like monomers, building blocks, amino acids, glucose, and fatty acids. Then you have macromolecules, which are polymers. Such that examples are going to be proteins, carbohydrates, and triglycerides. Organelles, which are structures within a cell. Levels of organization that are biotic or living. So you have cells being the smallest unit of life, then a tissue, which is a group of similar cells cooperating to perform a particular function. Then an organ is a group of tissues that cooperate to perform a particular function. Organ system is a group of cooperating organs. An organism is a living individual composed of all these parts functioning together. Keep in mind if one of these levels is affected, it affects other levels, such as with cystic fibrosis, which is a buildup of mucus. Organ systems. There are 11 commonly recognized organ systems in the human body, and all the organ systems make up the organism. These systems are integumentary, skeletal, muscular, nervous, endocrine, cardiovascular, lymphatic or immune, respiratory, digestive, containing stomach, intestines, mouth, and esophagus, urinary system containing kidneys, ureter, and bladder, reproductive system, which is directly related to homeostasis. Anatomical position is going to provide a common reference. It's for when we want to talk about the relationship of one structure to another structure. It's going to be when a person is standing upright with their feet parallel and on the floor, head level and looking forward, arms at the side, palms facing forward with their thumbs pointing away from the body. Body planes and sections. A plane is an imaginary flat surface passing through an organ or through someone's body. A coronal or frontal plane divides the body into anterior and posterior parts. Transverse plane divides the body into superior and inferior parts. Sagittal plane, of which there are two, which we'll get to in a second. So sagittal plane is vertical division to right and left parts. First type of sagittal plane is a mid-sagittal plane dividing the body into equal right and left halves, while the parasagittal plane is an unequal division of the body into right and left halves. An oblique plane creates sections on an angle, and a sectional plane or sectional, depending on how you learn it, it's going to be an actual cut through. Anatomical directional terms. So we have these to give relative position of one body structure to another. So we have anterior or ventral, meaning toward the front or in front of, posterior or dorsal, meaning toward the back or behind, superior or cranial, meaning above or toward the head, and inferior caudal, meaning toward the feet or tail, medial, meaning toward the midline, lateral, meaning away from the midline, ipsilateral, which is this going to be the one meaning same side of the body, and contralateral, meaning opposite side of the body. Superficial, meaning external or toward the body's surface, or we have deep as the opposite, meaning internal. The next two are going to be used solely for your arms and legs. Keep in mind that superior and inferior are not going to apply to your arms and legs at all, though. So first one applying to your arms and legs is proximal, meaning it is closest to the attachment site or trunk, and distal, meaning furthest from the attachment site or trunk. Regional anatomy, there are two main body regions, the axial region and the appendicular region. The axial region is the main vertical axis of the body, including the head, neck, and trunk, and your appendicular region, think appendage for this, it's going to include your upper and lower limbs. Your body regions, definition of it real quick, is a specific regional term used to describe areas within the axial and appendicular regions. For example, your wrist or corporal region, your neck or cervical region. There's going to be 9 abdominopelvic regions. Body cavities. Throughout the body, organs are housed within separate cavities. There are 2 subdivisions within the axial region, the dorsal cavity covered by meninges and ventral cavity covered by serous membranes. The dorsal cavity is the posterior aspect. The dorsal cavity is made up of 2 enclosed cavities, cranial cavity containing the brain, vertebral cavity contains spinal cord. The ventral cavity is made up of 2 enclosed cavities, the thoracic cavity, which is the superior part, and the abdominopelvic cavity containing the pelvis and stomach and is inferior. The 2 are separated by the diaphragm. The thoracic is superior to the diaphragm and contains the pleural cavities, of which there are 2 for the lungs, the mediastinum, which is an extra space with no serous membrane, and the pericardial cavity containing the heart. The abdominopelvic cavity is inferior to the diaphragm and contains two subcavities, the abdominal cavity, which has the abdominal organs, and the pelvic cavity with the bladder and reproductive organs. You have serous membranes. Serous membranes are divided into two continuous layers. These layers are the parietal layer, which lines the internal surface of the body wall, and the visceral layer, which covers the external surface of organs. Viscera means organ, so it'll be the closest part to the organ. Pericardium is a two-layered serous membrane that surrounds the heart. Pleura is the two-layered serous membrane that surrounds the lung, and peritoneum is the two-layered serous membrane that lines the abdominopelvic cavity. Characteristics of living things. There are 6 main characteristics that describe living things. Organization. All organisms exhibit a complex structure and order. Metabolism, the sum of all chemical reactions that occur within the body. Growth and development. Organisms assimilate materials from the environment to grow and develop, take things from the environment and use to grow. Responsiveness, the ability to sense and react to stimuli. Regulation, the ability to adjust internal bodily function to accommodate environmental changes, i.e. adaptation. And reproduction, the process of creating a new organism, allows for continued existence of the species. Homeostasis, the ability to maintain consistent internal environment in response to changing conditions. Changing conditions can be both internal or external. Hormone levels fluctuate all the time. 10 of the 11 major body systems contribute to homeostasis. Homeostasis isn't going to be completely stable. It fluctuates but will return to normal. Homeostatically regulated factors, so concentrations of nutrients, mainly for ATP or adenosine triphosphate, concentration of oxygen and carbon dioxide, concentration of waste products like urea and uric acid, pH for acidity and alkalinity measures the hydrogen ions that there are, concentration of water, salt and electrolytes, volume and pressure, and temperature, keeping the body between 97 to 99 degrees Fahrenheit, which is going to be what is hopefully a normal range for a person. This is because this is where cells are able to work well. Maintenance of homeostasis, the body must be able to, 1, detect changes in the internal environment, 2, adjust the internal environment appropriately. Negative feedback. A negative feedback system is the primary type of homeostatic control in the body. It opposes the initial change. There are 3 major components to negative feedback: the receptor, which detects change, the control center that sends information to where it needs to go, and the effector, which is the organ being changed and returned to the normal level. The stimulus will produce the change in a variable. Receptor detects the change, then input the information is sent along an afferent pathway to the control center. The output is when the information is sent along the efferent pathway to the effector. The response of the effector feeds back to reduce the effect of the stimulus and returns the variable to the homeostatic level. Thermoreceptor, receptors that can tell temperature. When blood vessels constrict, blood goes to the center of your body. Muscle contraction involuntarily creates heat. Glucose levels have to be monitored because it is needed for ATP or adenosine triphosphate. Positive feedback. So positive feedback is when the stimulus is reinforced to continue moving the variable in the same direction until a climactic event occurs, not important for homeostasis. After the climactic event, negative feedback will set in. I guess the picture I had for the slide did not want to work, but a pretty good example would be during childbirth as a positive feedback loop, if you wanted to look more into that. Maintenance of homeostasis. So homeostatic control systems are grouped into 2 classes: intrinsic controls, which are local controls that are inherent in an organ, and extrinsic controls, which is regulatory mechanisms initiated outside of an organ. That's all I have for today's video. If you found it helpful, please hit the thumbs up button. And if you know of someone else who might find it helpful, please forward it to them. If there is a topic you want to learn about in a future video, please leave it in the comment section below. I hope you have a great day. Bye!